going to really fun person this year. So we can let it wrap and sampling and it's just how to get some.
I don't know. Five were good last year.
Can't do it in the summer, and they did happy hour.
7 and 0 got last place. But it's just.
So anyway, I'll be there. I will be there.
Are we going on Friday?
Nobody brought cards?
There you go. That increases your chances of winning.
It does. It does. You know what? Maybe we can just wait. Even better than that.
So somebody else is complaining because we took their
Look who's here. Hi, Donnie. Good to see you. I'm calling everybody's going to get started. Thank you for your patience this morning. I want y'all to know that my rightful age, I survived last week at Walt Disney World. I rode every ride that my grandson wanted to ride. Even one called Tron. You remember Walt Disney World? And then Tron.
Wow.
Tell them about Tron. What's it like?
It's like a, from what I remember, I mean, it's like an immersive.
Like a motorcycle.
Yeah, it's like a,
It's like you do down like this.
Yeah.
It's going about 100 miles an hour, which that's not that fast. Anyway, yeah, so it's fun. Anyway, it's fun. I'm glad to be here. You guys, that I survived it with my guys. It was fun. All right, any good news you want to share? Anybody have any good news?
Share something funny with you. We put our house on the market last Saturday a week,
Your own house.
not ours, a listing.
Gotcha.
And FMLS no longer requires that you put in a commission, now it's optional. And somehow the number I put in was optional erased, so it showed 0 commission. We still had multiple offers by Monday and they're under contract, in 3 bankruptcies. So all of this about the commission things can be a big deal and it can be no deal. It's all attitude. 6 inches away from success or failure.
Good morning, family. This is Aaron. I hope you're doing well. Just called to check on you, see how things are going. Let me know that he finished your
There's some
project.
stuff on the news about it.
I just wanted to see if it was done.
Anybody from our
To
side,
your satisfaction.
not
So if you give me a call, let me know. The plan speaking.
I've seen it 3 times. I've seen it 3 times. People saying, David Bamey, who is the son-in-law of Jenny Pruitt, who's the CEO of on the Line Fine Homes, he said, there's probably not going to be a lot of change. And we're going to discuss that a little bit later. Any other news we need to talk about? Good news. Anything around? Anything going on? Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Sharaka.
Hey, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm no longer in a lawsuit, so that's really great news.
Yay!
That's that story, because I
Yeah.
didn't know.
It had to
We
do
did
with.
it all.
Thank you.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it was actually, Jim, it was over a title issue for an investment property I bought in November 2021. So that ties into what like Cheryl King was just doing about, doing research and all that. So it was in a lawsuit for like 2 years. And then finally just. Yeah.
That's great news. And I asked who was involved, and I got a great response.
Okay, good morning, I'm D'Angela and I am bold.
And D'Angela's been here for how long now?
Since August.
Since August, she came from.
Home Smart Farmer House. Yes, so it was an amazing, life-changing experience. This is my 6th year in the business. I'm a broker, and the level of conversations that we had in the ballroom, I've never had. The mindset was a complete shift for me. So I'm very excited to just like move forward in my business with the newfound understanding.
Can we give her a hand for that, guys? Anybody have anything to that? Those that bold? What did you think about bold?
I agree with D'Angela. It encouraged me to put things in place in my business that I was thinking about doing and talking about doing for over a year, and I actually did it. So I'm excited about what's to come.
Cool, I love that. Anybody else want to say anything about bold? Anybody else?
I finally made peace with it and I've submitted to the process. And so now I'm really looking forward to hers coming back in October. I've already put a bug in her ear, I put it in Jean's ear, everybody's ear that I could. Because I really can see the growth and the difference in all.
Yes, I'm the most excited because I've heard Bold gotten very tired. Same old, same old, same old, same old. What I'm hearing this time was not only is it new, good information, some information, but it actually was excellent what they learned, but they're still not getting great reviews from people that I trust. Anyway, guys, good morning. Let us move on. We have a full agenda. We've done that. Thomas and Brown. Thomas and Brown's not here today because Carrie is out of town. So who's up today from? Us. Come on up, guys.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
I'm Danielle Delinky with Silverton Mortgage. Good morning.
Yeah, I've gotten scared to talk because when I get up here every time Jim says I should let her talk. I'm gonna let her talk.
No pressure.
Your boss. Yeah, that's right. Tell us something good, Danielle.
Something good.
Please
We've
do.
got our movie party planned. Heather sent out an email. Hopefully everybody's received it. So it's gonna be April 13th at 10 a.m. At Merchants Walk. And we would love for everybody to take this opportunity to market it to your clients, and hopefully we'll have a big turnout.
3 movies, Kung Fu Panda, which hopefully I don't look like Kung Fu Panda with my black and white and belly. But anyway.
Good advertising.
Do what?
Good advertising.
And
Godzilla vs. Kong, the new one, and then Ghostbusters: The Frozen Empire.
Thank you.
Yes.
Nice.
Who's gonna go see Godzilla?
I am.
Oh, I'll see it.
Anybody see Dune?
You said it's good.
None of y'all saw Dune.
Not yet.
Anybody see the first Dune?
Yes.
Is that the new Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I'll go see that.
Cool. Well, anyway, we'd love for you guys. It's a great chance for you to have multiple touches with your database. Invite, phone call. We're going to keep track of who comes. We'll let you know who's coming. Then you could, if you want to come on that Saturday morning and greet your folks when they come in. I mean, they're having realtors who, pay for popcorn and drinks for their attendees. And then after the party, we'll let you know who came so you can have a follow-up call too. So, I mean, guys, part of the problem, part of the difficulty with making your outbound calls is you want to have something to say, right? I mean, don't you get tired of feeling like you're doing this every time you call somebody? And one of the worst things that could happen to me is if I call somebody, an agent or a client, and their first thing is, well, I don't have anybody for you right now. That isn't the only reason I call, right? I mean, I do want business, but I call to see, I genuinely care what's going on, but it's to be able to have something to give them that's helpful. So hope you'll utilize it.
Yeah, and you guys are also welcome to come and bring your kids and
Yes, absolutely.
see movies as well.
Don't put it on social media. We did have that. It went on the east side one time. Ooh-wee, it was bad. Anyway,
It was expensive
yeah,
that
it was
year.
very. Yeah, we had one that was over $10,000.
Oh my God.
Wow. So let's don't do that. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's see my hand. Come on, Karen, transitions.
All right.
You care?
I care.
Oh, I like it.
So I have 3 simple things. One is we're gonna pass this little bucket around because we're gonna give away Boo clusters. That's my first thing. They're fun. They're made in Nashville, Tennessee, which is where I'm from. And so I just thought they're fun. They're nutty, they're chocolatey, they're salty, they're gooey, and they're a cluster. And so here's how that relates to my next 2 points. And I've got 4 little boxes here. So one is to tell you what we do, because a lot of times, your clients are in a cluster, right? And I'm gonna tell you real quickly how we can help get you out of that. And then number three, the thing that I want to give to you is, with the announcement, I know y'all are gonna talk about in the meeting today with, commissions and all that, that could feel like a cluster, right? But I've seen you guys over the last couple of years, I've seen your leadership team, you have a strong leadership team. I sponsored the awards dinner, I guess it was breakfast a couple months ago. You guys lead the pack. You lead the pack in the US and in Atlanta here. And so you can use a cluster to pivot and take a lead and really change to grow your sales. And so I kind of wanted to start with something fun, end with something that can be something really scary, but recognize that you guys have the right team, you're on the right team to help get through what can sometimes be a cluster. Now, in the middle of that was what we do. So Caring Transitions, we're a national franchise. We have 330 owners nationwide. I own here Roswell, Buckhead, Sandy Springs, Woodstock, Marietta, Alpharetta. And I've done in 4.5 years, 925 projects. And so what that means is when you go into a client and you're trying to sell their house and there's a cluster there, we're the ones that can help the client see through. And no matter the age, and I will tell you, we focus on seniors because we market to seniors and our goal is a caring transition. But I've had a lot of clients say, can you do what you did for my mom for me? So we're gonna help you do a couple things. Things that you want us to do because we're the professional, we're gonna get paid for it and you're not gonna get paid for this work. So you wanna be on selling other houses. We're gonna help them declutter. We're gonna help them figure out what do they wanna take to the new place, especially if it's smaller. We're gonna call our moving company, which is All's Done, which my son and I started. That's junking, moving, shredding, hauling things away. So a lot of times we will help a client move, sell everything in their house through our online auction platform, and then we'll do a deep clean and we turn the keys over. I give you a day-by-day schedule. You know exactly when you can schedule the photographer, and it's done. And my goal with your client is to help reduce their stress. Because they're stressed about all this, and they need somebody that'll answer the phone for those 30 days as they're getting ready. So that's what we do. We are Caring Transitions, and we're gonna help you get out of the cluster. So, okay, Eric.
Hey.
Eric.
I was just thinking about you because I have a great seller client that I think needs you. And I've already referred you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I go and meet with clients for free and just come up with solutions. Liz Carr. Liz.
I thought the light was just getting warm. I'm like,
and so I'll talk about our normal solution. I'll talk about like how can we get creative for you. Let's do this. Danielle Pena.
Hey.
I'm just there to help people.
light glasses.
That's you? Okay, well then that's easy, isn't it? There you go. Yeah, my glasses are over here. So anyway, thank you. And, again, I want to iterate the third thing, leadership. Cluster right now in the market. Y'all can rise above it and you will, and I know you will because I've seen you do it. Y'all lead, so I love that.
Keep my card, I'm a senior specialist.
Oh, okay, good, let's talk.
Thank you for breakfast.
Thank you. Great job. Moving on. Time to get on with our March listing contest. Sherry, why don't you talk about this?
It's a black card, but.
I wish I was seeing more listings, but I know they're coming.
We do too.
Right?
We do too, right?
If you go downstairs, you look at our board, it's starting to fill up with
I'm
a bunch
glad I
of,
came today.
clovers with your name and the addresses on it. We do have 3 prizes, a prize for the individual with the most listings, the team with the most listings, and the group with the most listings, and it's a $200 prize for each. So, if it is worth putting forth that extra effort and making those extra phone calls or knocking on those extra doors to get a listing in the month of March. So keep up the good work, guys.
Way to go. Thank you, Sheriff, for doing that and making it happen. Shred Day. Do you want to talk about that? Angela, you want to talk about it?
It is this Saturday. We will have an email going out this week for all of the attendees to account for what shift you'll be working. We have our setup before 9 and our breakdown after 12. Breakdown, neither one of them take a long time, but we want to make sure that everyone's arriving before we get started so that you can be ready for setup and ready to greet your clients as they come. Sometimes they roll around 8:30, a little early, so we want to make sure everybody's there. Yeah.
Cool, guys. That's two ways you can give this morning to touch your clients. One is the movie party, which is like, hey, you've been to a movie a long time? Come join me. And this is, hey, do you have junk in your house you get rid of? Come join me. So guys, that's two things for you to do. That's two great touches for your clients this month. How to use Canva coming up with Angelina. It's coming up on March the 20th, which is tomorrow, 11/12. Come learn how to use Canva. Is Angelina here? I used that last week, so cool, great. All right, red flags, the 10 most common defects found in inspection, how to spot them and walk through. Thursday, March the 21st, 10 to 1.
Oh, this is Ernie.
Free CE hours of class, and so that's coming up. Please join them, okay? Join us at our new Marion location. Classes start April 1st. That is this location.
I'm on a Zoom call right now.
Wants to get into real estate, and we have a free class
30
that is
seconds.
through Keller Williams. We also have, this is a paid class. It's about $500. Kimberly, is that right?
$475.
$475, exactly right, Joe. But it's in person. It's 2 weeks. You can get your license in 2 weeks. If anybody, please send them our way because we want to fill this class up again. And this lady is fantastic at teaching the class. Headshots coming up with Jeremy. It's coming up on April 2nd, 9 to 11:30. Please register that if you have your old
Let me
headshot.
reach out to her and have a conversation with her, and then I can create.
All right, guys, this is one of my favorite times of the month when I get to tell people that they're out there and they're doing business or that they capture. Guys, please be excited to hear. Guys, let's have the lights on this. All right, first listing. Let's give him a hand. Wade Diver. That's right. Wade. Going to it. First listing, first closing, which is a payday. Which is a payday. You like getting paid, girl?
Yes.
Feels good.
Now anymore.
The boys, that ready feel good? All right, let's give her one more hand, guys. All right, moving on. February cappers. Now, I have to remind people about this. What happens when you get a cap? That means that you're doing what?
All your money.
You're getting 100% of the commission, guys, which is cool. So February cappers. First is Leah Kiki. Let's give Leah a hand. Way to go. Way to go, Leah. Maggie Cook. Let's give her a hand. Maggie Cook. Let's give her a hand. Way to go, Maggie. Carrie Jackson. Way to go, Carrie. I'm proud of you, buddy. Great job. Carrie Jackson. Patty Jackson, one more time. Patty, good job. Arthur E. Johnson!
Gap in 2 months.
2 months. Give her a hand.
Nice.
Next is Joanne Love. Way to go, Joanne. Give her one good lady. Way to go, Joanne and Jason. Nikki Murphy. Way to go, Nikki. Way to go, Nikki. Angela Presley. Come up here, my friend. So, guys, I want to give these two ladies a hand for something because I spent last half the week with one of my grandsons, as y'all know, what was one. I'm dealing with the other one next week. So these two ladies that stood in the gap this week while I was gone. She made sure we had table assignments for last Saturday night. I flew in and took the credit for it. But she did the work, and she took care of us on that. And she's also developed an incredible PC program here, so we thank you for that. This one handed the reins over to her last Thursday at Bold. She's the one that made everything at Bold happen, like the books and the notes and everything, and she did it and gave me the credit for it. So guys, can we give these two a great hand?
And you're dressed very bold today. It's
Oh,
bold colors.
thank you, like a
Awesome.
little fur. Thank you.
These two are both servant leaders. I love it. Let's give them a hand, guys. Our next couple is Marlon. Way to go, Marlon. Hey, Marlon. Grace Thompson. Where's Grace? Show me here, Grace. Give her a hand. Good job. Brenda Roth. Yay, Brenda! Let's give her a hand, guys. Second time capper. Not bad for a school teacher, huh? I was a school teacher last time. Way to go, Brenda. I love you, but that's fabulous.
Good job, girl.
And Lisa and Steve ran. Lisa, way to go. Steve. Husband and wife team, fabulous. All these together, love it. All right, guys, we're gonna have lessons learned as we talk about what's going on. But Sherry and come on, Amanda, they have a lesson learned for us because you learned a lesson last week, didn't you? So come on up, Amanda. Come on up, Sherry. It's not as bad as she.
It's very frustrating.
Exactly right, Josh. Come on up, Sherry.
So buyers are liars. I don't know if that surprises anybody, but if it doesn't, they're liars. And I had a situation where I've been working with this couple. We've been friends for a very long time. They've sent me, 3 family members as referrals over the last 12 months that I've closed. So it's not like they don't know me. It's not like they don't know how I run my business. It's not like, we don't have a working business relationship. So just to preface it with that. So we did just a brief buyer consult over the phone because they had been on 3 other calls with me. So I was just assumed that they understood. And put them in my car. I didn't really put them in my car. I met them at a couple houses. And then, the next weekend we looked at a few more. That's when I had them sign their BBA when they put in an offer. And I felt like I explained it. They did not feel like I explained it. And we ended up going under contract for a house last week. They terminated on Friday. And then I got an inspection company email me asking for a CVS code for a house I was not under contract on. And so I called the inspection company, confirmed it was for those clients, and then I called the clients and found out they went behind my back and went to the listing agent. This is also why it's very important though that you use lenders that you know and you love and you trust, because the lender also did not give me a heads up that I was about to lose commission on a $750,000 house. So I called Sherry because I was like, what do? I have a signed PBA. I explained that to them that this is how I represent them, that this is how I negotiate for them, that this is what my commission rate is, that this is my protection period. I explained all of that to them and she was like, well,
you skipped the part about the text.
Oh, yeah, yes. So they did text me and they've been they're pregnant. They've just been kind of frustrated during the whole process because we kept losing offers. And so I texted them a couple houses, said, do you want to see a few during due diligence? I think this one would be really great for you. They said, no, if we terminate on this house, we're gonna pause, is what they said. They didn't say they were firing me, they didn't say that they were permanently pausing, nothing. They just said, we're gonna take a pause. Turns out that meant they were breaking up with me. And they just weren't willing to have that conversation. Yeah.
So, the pause happened on Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm. And we terminated on Friday.
And they went under contract for their new house on Friday.
Right.
So
directly with the listing agent.
Directly with the listing agent.
Of the same property?
Different property.
Different property. But it is a property she could send to them, whether they saw the property via her FMLS or they went on Realtor.com or Zillow and saw. We don't know about that. I spoke with the buyers on Sunday and he was like, since we are good friends, I didn't want to make this a bad thing. So when I said we want to pause, that meant we don't want to work with you anymore. And they were frustrated on a couple of different levels, which we discussed that Amanda will share with you in a minute. The ways to what we're learning in how to move forward. But when they sent the text saying pause, that meant we did not want to work with you anymore. But because they're friends, they didn't know how to better way.
In what language?
Yeah, right.
Because they literally said, if we terminate, we would like to take a pause.
Yeah.
That's all they said.
And admitted to me that he did not communicate very well, that those were his intentions. And he was frustrated with the whole buyer broker situation and how that was handled, which Amanda's gonna share her lessons learned from this in just a second. We reached out to the listing agent to say, hey, we would like, we represent them, we have an active BDA. And then I reached out to a couple of my broker friends, and the fact that Amanda unfortunately is not protected because she was not on the contract and the offer. Yeah, she can go after her buyers for commission because she had an active BDA. And she can go after her buyers for commission if she would like to, which we don't encourage that. But the buyers would be on the hook for that, but not the sellers.
Right.
In this scenario.
Yeah, because the sellers are offering a co-op commission, but they didn't think that I existed.
Right.
They didn't know that I existed
Sure.
because they told them, we're not working with an agent, we don't have a signed BDA.
You did not show that house, right?
I sent it to them.
Right,
But I did not physically show
But
it.
understood.
Yeah. Yeah. So procuring cause, it's like, at the
That's
same
right.
time though, I'm also listing their mom's condo, their mom's buying with me, so I'm potentially losing 3 transactions out of this.
If we didn't handle it very
If we didn't handle it the right way.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I decided to do, and talk to Sherry about this weekend, which also I don't know how I got your number. That was weird, but anyway.
I have my cell phone number.
Always
I'm
have
not
it.
giving it. So, we decided that we weren't gonna sue them for the commission. Because it's a long process. It's an expensive process, it's a pain in the butt, and I'm not willing to put that energy out there right now. I believe that this is just, they're a pain in the butt anyway. So it's just clearing the headspace for me to get, better clients, and do a better job explaining the BDA to them. Yeah.
So how are you gonna do your BDA different next time?
So-
What's your new process for doing your BDAs?
My new process is blue signed ink. I won't be docu-signing it anymore. I'll be doing it in person, and doing a much more thorough job about going through it. Especially with because I agree, with everything that Jim's saying about Georgia and this lawsuit. I feel like we're pretty protected because we do have the listing agreement worded the way it is. The BBA is worded the way that it is. And I think it's just up to me to make it more separate from the contract. Because that was only the second time we've gone out, that we put our first offer in. So it was like, hey, all right, let's go through the paperwork, let's go through it on your phones or computers on DocuSign. And it was just boom, boom, boom. But because there's so much information, because there's so much information that they get when you're going over a contract the first time they're submitting one, sometimes they focus on the other stuff versus what they're actually signing.
That's right.
Yeah. And even though they're adults, they don't read what they're signing.
That's right, and
Yeah.
and don't.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What's your question?
What if you totally explained it 110% and they signed it, and yet they still came back and lied and said it wasn't explained to me very well? I didn't get that.
So what I'm realizing is that the only thing I can control is how I set expectations, how I set it through the process, how I explain stuff. What they absorb is not my business.
It's not on you.
It's not on me, because I did the thorough explanation. And even if I would have thoroughly explained it, they knew that they signed the BBA. If they still would have went behind my back and went to the listing agent, I still wouldn't have pursued it.
Right.
We were gonna pursue it with the listing agent, but then it, because I didn't exist.
Follow up with an email, just saying, hey, I'm just
I mean,
asking.
good, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, thanks for signing this and, me being your agent.
Yeah, and here's your copy.
Here's your copy and here it is in bullet points. What
Yeah.
you signed. Just to cover yourself.
And then in this particular scenario, which I see more than I care to, is that her BBA went over with the offer. Even though it was on top.
It was the first thing that they signed.
Yeah. It's just, it was muddled in. They were more worried about the price we're gonna offer and how much concessions are we gonna get. They're not even focused on that BBA that they signed. Even though she went through the steps and explained it to them, that's not what their headspace is. Their headspace. So please, guys, and it is imperative that you get your BBAs and you do your
No. No.
the searching process.
Cause it's illegal to practice real estate without like having a
Without
signed
written
agreement
permission.
with this person. And so, even when I show them a couple freebies, you know, I'm not giving them advice, I'm not telling them what they should offer, I'm not telling them anything, because they're not my clients.
Can't walk through the house, Amanda, without doing.
Listen, you know what, I'm like, oh, look at that crack in that foundation, that's crazy over there. You know, well, look at that, you know, new light fixture, you know, I'm a door opener for that few days, or for that, you know, few houses. It's not, you know, and then if they decide that they want to, and then I'm like, okay, but, yeah. It's more about like an exploration of like, what do you like, what do you not like, what areas are you looking at, you know, cause they were weird people, so.
But what is the law, Sherry?
You have to have the BBE signed before you start acting in an agent capacity.
And it has to be signed at the first significant
Meaning that you, yes, that you're acting in an agent capacity. Yes.
Angela, you had your hand up.
What was it that they didn't understand?
So they did not like that I was using a showing assistant, as a single mom, as well as somebody who had to go to Vegas or went to Vegas for family reunion. So my schedule has changed, and so as a result, my business is changing, and I'm having to incorporate more leverage, and so they felt like I kind of pushed them aside. And used a showing assistant. I used one person the entire time that I had showings with them, as well as myself. It's not like I just completely was like, you're out. But it was like they wanted to see, you know, houses at bedtime. And so I feel like I did not do a good job explaining my new responsibilities without having a 2-parent household. So that's something else I'll be doing in the future too. It's like, hey, I've got another person on my team, you know, they help me, you know, because I'm one person, right? I'm one person with a book of business, and I am only able to do so much. Same way that I'm not gonna underwrite your loan, I'm also not gonna be able to show you every single house, and I don't wanna hinder you from finding the right house because it's, you know, bath time, you know? I'm not gonna allow, you know, my scheduling to hinder you from finding the house of your dreams.
That's right.
You know, and so I think now knowing that that was a concern of theirs, you know, but they also weren't willing to like talk to me about it, which was like really frustrating, because we've been friends for so long, you know? And so it's like, I thought we were being able to have open dialogue, and we weren't. And I think that's the other thing where I learned that not everyone is as straightforward and direct as I am, and that's okay too, right? Like, I'm a little too direct sometimes. They also felt like I wasn't being aggressive enough, which I've never been accused of not being aggressive in my entire life.
Did you get them to explain that? Cause I would be
No,
like,
they
what?
were yelling at me, so I let them yell, and I thanked them for their feedback. Cause I asked for feedback. I said, I'm so sorry that you had this, you know, experience. I would love to know, like, what was going on, right? Because clearly something was happening in their head that wasn't happening in my reality. And so I was like, I wanna make sure that no other clients feel this way, and that I don't lose any other business over this. So I would love your feedback. And so they're just like pregnant screaming at me. And I listened and I absorbed it, and, you know, yeah.
Well, you handled it right.
Shelley, you had something?
So, two things. One is, I started to do this like the past few months, that as soon as I have a client that is saying, I'm ready to look at homes, before even I put him on the automatic email or something like that, I send them, this is the buyer's agreement that you will be signing if you would like to work with me. If you don't want to, have a great life.
But you explained the buyer agreement, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I make a Zoom call and, you know, I explain it, or in person, whichever it is. Period.
Well, this is gonna be a must now. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
It's always been.
I mean, it's always been a must.
So it's in my system now, like, my system goes, you know, it's like, as soon as send it, we send it automatically within a day after. Second thing, I would like to hear what everybody else is thinking about it. If you were the listing agent, put yourself in the listing agent, if you were the listing agent, and you've heard that the buyer actually won, and they have a buyer's brokerage agreement, what would you do?
So I actually had this scenario happen, and when I spoke to the listing agent, we both fired the client.
So like we both just said, we're not gonna work with you. And so I appreciated that from her. Luckily, he wasn't buying, because she was running him around town just as I had. And he had BBAs with both of us, so it wasn't the listing agent, but he had BBAs with both of us. And when I called her, because my lender told me, she was like, I would never do that. She was so apologetic. I think most of the time, people in our industry want the same treatment that they would want. So I don't know, if I were the listing agent, I would have probably offered some of my commission to the buyer's agent. For, I don't know, cause you didn't show it is different a little bit.
We don't know how to deal with
So I have a question. Who's afraid to have that conversation about the BBA?
I only show buyers' houses unless we've met in person first. Like, I don't care if they're pre-approved or anything, I don't get in my car to go show houses until we've met and they've signed the BBA and they're pre-approved.
Well, I'll go back to that question that asked, let's hear, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I wanna hear from other people who are listing agent that, what would you do if you were in this situation? Because obviously the buyer lied.
Well, I've had I would represent my client, the seller.
I think it
You
depends.
can't feel sorry for a buyer agent. I mean, I feel sorry for a lot of people, but I have to represent my client.
Plus, you
And the
don't
client
know.
is the seller. Now, if we're under contract, then it's way too late to do anything. If we're not under contract, I might explain to my seller, this is the kind of person we're dealing with.
But your contract, think about it for a moment, in that situation, the person who wrote the contract to the seller is the listing agent, correct?
Right.
Okay, the person who wrote the contract, the listing agent, also, when she presented that offer to to her seller,
yes,
will say on it, buyer is not my client, he's a customer. Hopefully she wrote that, which means that wasn't the case. The buyer was lying and you did not know. You, the listing agent, didn't know that they were lying. So I wanna hear legally, where is it?
Because I think you make a lot of assumptions this morning.
Yeah.
And let's not make assumptions, because we don't know what went on in the conversation. I'm sure this agent asked, are you currently under contract with someone?
She said, do you have a signed buyer brokerage agreement with another agent? They said, no, we do not.
We spoke to the
So
listing
why
agent.
am I-
Yeah,
we
we
thought-
spoke with the listing agent. She had no clue.
Plus, your listing agreement might say, if an unrepresented buyer comes through, then the listing commission is X.
And she did cut her commission.
Right,
For
and
the
so,
contract.
yeah, so I actually will charge more if an unrepresented buyer comes through than what I normally, so you can't even assume, I mean, yeah, you can't assume what's going on in the listing side.
I had an awesome agent from our office make my clients who are working with me lose an offer because they lost because of $10,000. And if I was in the picture, I would have negotiated that. She told him, you're not getting a discount on this house, whether you have an agent or not. I'm getting my 6%. In the end, they lost because of $10,000. They didn't want to bring it up.
Any other thoughts or questions about this? Yes, ma'am?
So I just have a thought, and it's mostly, I've moved too many times in corporate America. If you have something because of the brain space that y'all talked about where the consumer is, like something really simple that says, buyer's agent, what I do for you, who the listing agent, they're working for the seller.
Oh, no, they understood.
Really simple. Now here's the contract that, says all that. And it's because people don't realize, they just think, oh, well, I'll just do less. And it's like, no, it's not. You need somebody representing you.
I have a side by side that I give at my house.
Yeah, side by side, yeah.
And not the, I don't know how to say this the right way.
Can we pause recording?
We're recording. So after talking with the agent, and I talked with the buyer twice on Sunday, Their due diligence was up yesterday and they have not even done the inspection yet.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I wouldn't let that happen. I wouldn't let that happen.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
We'll be pregnant.
My question is, in light of the recent news with NAR and the lawsuit, is the BBA or even the listing agreement in July going to change? Because I heard something about July.
That's MLS.
Oh, which Jim was gonna talk to you next about, okay, yeah, no, those are not changing. Yes, you can do.
There's also a consumer brochure that explains agency, and I send that with the BBA.
Yeah, I love it.
And I discuss it, and I have them sign that.
Love it. The brochures, guys, are y'all's best friends. All the brochures are awesome.
It's 102
CYA.
pages when you send it all out. And I have to initial all of it.
Also, yeah, CYA.
Sherry, can I just say one more thing for a new agent? That pamphlet that we have is called the ABCs of Agency. Please read that, memorize it, so as soon as you sit down, actually, this way I was taught, right? As soon as you sit down after you shake hands and you say, how did you find our place, whatever, can I get you a bottle of water? The state of Georgia says, I have to go over this pamphlet with you, the ABCs of Agency. We get to the good stuff about what you want in your house, but I have to go over this. And you go over what agency looks like.
Love it.
And then, because you're planting a seed, so at the end of the consultation, you're gonna get your BBA signed.
During that review is also when you explain new construction agents and how nice they are, and they'll give you
Yes.
treats, but they represent the seller.
That's right.
Well, I have no doubt that Amanda explained it the right way and told them what the options were. I have no doubt about that. What happened was that she had a friend that decided that they knew better than she knew. And they lied about it, Sorry, they lied about it, guys. No matter how you look at it, they lied about it, and they let her down in the way that she earns her living, so.
And they also offered to give me some compensation, right? And so I wanted to talk about that too, because they cannot Venmo me, right? They're like, we'll send you a Venmo. The heck you will, you know, you better be Venmoing Quan, right?
Right.
Because any compensation that you get from a client has to be run through our office, period. Because they're not my client, they're Quan's client, right? That's not my listing, that's Quan's listing. It's not my contract, it's Quan's contract. I'm just the representative on it. So if somebody wants to give you a little like sneaky side treat, it's gotta be run through the office, or you can lose your license, you know? Like, I'm not willing to take that risk over $2,500. Right?
So they did offer you, very interesting.
Yeah, the mom did too. She was calling me from Italy, just like sobbing, and I was like, "Girl, enjoy your gondola. Get out of here.
So
Like,
they
it's fine."
So they didn't wanna pay Quan?
I
To help
didn't
you?
ask them for compensation.
They were just gonna.
So the way I ended it with the seller on Sunday, our second conversation.
You mean the buyer?
The buyer, and then he followed up yesterday with an email that I blank copied you on.
Thank you.
I led into like, you know what, Manny and I had a conversation, and Juan is not going to pursue you for the commissions. And we really look forward to your business. She's appreciated all your referral business in the past, and we look forward to referral business in the future, and we look forward to getting your mom's condo on the market. I'm just like planting those seeds that you're still using Amanda for all your future transactions. And then I followed that up yesterday in an email, so.
Because they'd asked me, they said, are you gonna be pursuing are you gonna be pursuing?
We had them worried a little bit, yeah.
And I was like, it's no longer in my hands, it's now in my broker's hands. I cannot speak to what's gonna happen, because I also had to think about it, right? I had to think about what do I wanna do, and then I stopped communicating with them, because I was like, I'm no longer in an agency agreement with them, so I no longer owe them any sort of conversation, right? But I had to think about it, and so I put it back on our office, like, you know what, it's no longer my thing, like, now it's in our broker's hands. And so I have to speak with our broker and like have a meeting and figure out what's going on, just to buy myself some time, because I think, to breathe. And because I think sometimes for me, it's like I'm so quick to answer, and then I shoot myself in the foot, right? And so it's like, being able to buy myself some time and letting them be uncomfortable, letting them sweat. You know?
They'll sweat, you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Even when they go into the house, they'll sweat.
Yeah.
You just, they lost your friendship, first of all, you're gonna be nice, I assume, but you don't have to be their friend. And they're gonna think about it, I promise you, years to come.
Where they screw up.
And what goes around comes around.
That's right.
That's right.
Huh?
Exactly.
Especially because they didn't do
Any other
inspection.
questions?
Exactly.
And they won't know to do the appraisal plans.
I do have one. I hope you wouldn't take $1 for them.
Yeah.
Because any
Right.
dollar, first of all, diminishes all the value that they perceive. Secondly, that puts their mind at rest. They need to live in the house
Yeah.
knowing that, I'm sorry, they screwed a friend.
Karma is up.
And that
You
can
know
very,
what?
amen.
That's
to
what
that.
he's been saying. And I spent money on showing assistants, I spent money on door openers, like for like when the contractors had to come. I spent a lot of my time like talking to them late at night, my lenders spent a lot of time talking to them late at night, and then they didn't even use my people, right? So they wasted all of our time, and those are not the type of buyers that I really wanna like have in my life.
Our friends.
Or friends, right? A lot of their true colors came out, and, you know, and I don't know if I'd wanna sell that house with them, you know, in 5 to 10 years, because they're not good people, right? Like, those are not the people that I put on my vision boards, so.
We sped past something, you said that them moving out of the way frees you up to receive the types of clients that you need.
That's my bold mentality, but you focus on expand, and that's why I'm not willing to put all this energy into it, right? Like, energy is just, you know, traded between people, money is energy, everything is energy. And I really like embodied that during Bold this year, where it's like, you know what? Next, let it flow, let it go, like, yeah.
Good
for you,
Amanda.
Good for you, proud of you.
Good job.
One more comment that is out of Bold, I think.
Good for you for calling Sherry, because that was handled, of course, lovely, as she always does. And I think back over the years, especially early on when I was in this business, I wouldn't know what to do with something. And I didn't go to somebody who could help me. I think I just kind of messed it up. So anyway, that is why you have this. It's why you're at Keller Williams, so that you have backup. And good for you for saying, it's actually not my decision now.
And we have the best office, like, period. Like, we have the best
Can you
staff.
say that to the people in the back?
We have the best office, not just Keller Williams, like, just period. Like, we have the most support. Like, I mean, Sherry was on the phone with me this week, like Saturday and Sunday. I was like, yo, I'm getting ready for the banquet. Like, this is what's going on. I wanted to give you a heads up. And Sunday, it's like, hey, you know, I'm eating lunch with my parents, but like, I need to address this, and I don't know how. She literally walked me through step by step, like what I needed to say. I literally was like writing it down on like a scrap piece of paper at my mom's house. And so, but it was like, then I was able to talk to the listing agent, which did not go well. But I was able to like be compassionate, because this is a crappy situation, right? Like, this is not a good situation for her either. And so, but I was able to remove myself from it, and just be like, hey, listen, like, here's the situation, like, here's what's going on, so, yeah.
Can we give her a hand, Brantley, of like? I would put Sherry up against any compliance person in the whole city. Isn't she just like the best? Let's give her a hand, guys. Let's move on a little bit. I want to close with, I hope it will encourage you, Amanda. So about 20 years ago, I got a client looking for something $950,000. 20 years ago, that was an expensive house, wasn't it? Still is an expensive house. Very good friends, we travel together, and we're looking at finding anything, and I get a phone call in the morning. Hey, Jim, it's Charlie. He says, tell me what's up. I don't know how we did this, but we just sold our house and bought another one.
You don't know how.
I said, what? No BDA signed over. They didn't exist back then. Anyway, I said, tell me more. He said, well, I bought a house and I sold mine today. And I went, Charles, how did that happen? You have someone came to his door and that lives in the neighborhood, says, I have a buyer for your house. He said, you have to find the new one. He said, where? He said, Brookwood Hills. She made 2 phone calls and found a house in Brookwood Hills. It was 1.5 million. My best friends. Wow. And guys, I went over and talked with him. His wife is sobbing. I didn't say a word. After that, we're still best friends, and I probably sold another $4 or $5 million worth of house with that guy. So how you handled it was lovely, you too, but just realize time sometimes heals things, and so I wouldn't give up on you. I would not. It's your decision. It's your decision. I wouldn't give up on you. Okay, all right. So tell me what you're hearing out there in the news about the NAR settlement. Tell me what you're hearing. Someone tell me what you're hearing.
The laws
Brenda?
have changed.
The what?
That's what I heard yesterday on the phone. The laws have changed. Laws. The real estate laws have changed, that's what
What's
someone
the
told
law?
me yesterday.
Okay.
I was like, oh, wow,
The law
we
has
really need to
changed.
educate them.
I like the one that says that home prices are gonna go down because.
Home prices are gonna go down.
Yeah.
By 6%.
Who in here, who in here thinks the home prices are gonna go down?
If you haven't heard that, everybody's talking about it.
Like, the laws are good, I mean, the laws have changed. Housing prices are gonna go down, and buyers are gonna be able to buy houses cheaper, and sellers are gonna sell them, you know, be able to cut out 3% of the commission. What else are you hearing out
And
there?
maybe in other markets, but not our market.
Okay, maybe other markets, then that's a possibility. Eric?
Several of the headlines I was reading
By the
about.
way, you know he was on Channel 2 News?
Yeah, well done.
Everybody see that? He was on it, yeah.
They interviewed me on Sunday for the Action News about it. Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But so the headlines, including this report that I interviewed with, they made it sound like they said the 6% commission is no longer, as if that was like the standard,
Yeah.
right? Which, as we all know, it's not a set amount, it's a negotiable amount. And I explained this to the reporter. We stood not on live and had an interview for about 5 to 10 minutes. And she only threw a couple clips in for her package. But I made it clear that, I told her, I said, commissions have always been negotiable, they are negotiable. And I made some comments like, hey, and I emphasized the value that we need to bring. I said, it's gonna be more challenging, I think, for buyers. Of course, I'm giving my opinion. It's gonna be more challenging for buyers and lenders in the room. Obviously, I know we're gonna have a lot more conversations about this over the weeks, but I wanna hear y'all's take on this with regard to costs and how it's gonna affect buyers. I think, I also said, I think it's going to probably push a lot of agents, getting them thinking about this business or not. And even the reports were saying a lot of people are probably gonna leave the business, not the good ones. We're not leaving. But yeah, the headlines about the 6% commission stood out to me, and I'm like, it's not a 6% commission.
Who else? What are you hearing?
I saw a headline saying the 6% went away, so it'll be zero.
Say it again.
Zero when you sell your house, no more 6%, you can now save $24,000 on a $400,000 house.
Okay, all right, so zero. Okay, what else you've heard? Sharka?
I heard that buyers are gonna go direct, to find other ways and new technology, whatnot, to go direct to the seller now.
Okay.
So it's gonna cut out the buyer's agent altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Which
heard
is-
that people are gonna use attorneys instead of a buyer's agent. And so, yeah, they were just gonna go through the listing, like, they don't need someone to open the door.
Right.
They can
You know
get,
what's less expensive than us is an attorney.
right. Yeah, so that's what they're, and then a lender's contact said that they're getting, like, they think that possibly the lenders are gonna have to do some of the work that buyer's agents do.
Okay. All right, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Lenders doing our jobs for us. I get that.
We
Okay.
must take on more work.
All right, what else have you heard out there? What's there, Mick?
I was at a party Saturday night talking to a CEO of a financial firm, and he had a very low opinion of buyers agents. To say that it was low is an understatement. He said anybody can just look online and do it, and I told him that's fine, and you can take out your own appendix too, but I wouldn't recommend it.
All right, what else are you hearing out there? Ma'am.
I liked the news comparing our way of being compensated with the UK and Israel. And when you actually look at how they're compensated, it's completely different. They're salaried. I mean, that was fun.
So they have benefits,
Completely different.
retirement,
Yeah. Right.
insurance,
Yeah, health insurance.
There's that, man.
I'm hearing, I guess it depends on who you're listening to. And I'm hearing from Keller Williams that, and a quote is that we're sitting in a catbird seat, which that we as Keller Williams are the agents that are in the best position because number one, Keller Williams settled and we can't have suits of identical causes brought against us as Keller Williams agents, so long as we are still Keller Williams agents. And that the thoughts that are there with other professionals are that if we do get completely decoupled, and that's the whole question, is decoupling going to be real? And if it is, that listing agents will more than likely be earning more money and will have to assume more responsibility by unrepresented buyers, so they should get more money, and they will have to staff theirself, so it is going to cost more to list a property because of the fact that you're doing two people's job for one price, but that price has to go up.
So who in this room right now has been in this business more than 20 years? Hold your hands up. I want each one of you to tell me something significant that's changed in real estate in the past 20 years. I mean, significant. Like I was told, I won't come back to that. I was told when the computer started, there were no computers when I started, there were books, they was gonna put all this out of business. I said, really? Okay, tell me what's changed.
That was the big one, right? When everything became online, like with the Zillow, Realtor.com, that we were gonna become obsolete. Everybody could see everything. Don't do this.
Okay, Rob?
The true new due diligence period. Oh, people are gonna write contracts all the time and just jump out. Because we didn't used to have a due diligence.
Okay, great. What else has changed significantly?
I mean, commissions being paid. When I got into business in '96, I was at a brokerage where it was 7% and 8% that we were putting on our listing agreements.
Yes.
I mean, those were, yeah, and it was not hard to get. Yeah.
Who else? What's changed significantly?
I wasn't in it, but didn't Buyers Agency emerge not that long ago?
Early
I mean,
40 years ago when I started the business, everyone worked for the
Sellers.
sellers. That's right. There was no buyer agent. Now, I was doing undisclosed buyer agent at that point. But everybody knew that when I brought a contract, I was representing this guy sitting out in my car.
Everybody but the buyer knew.
2006.
Right. Say that again?
When I first got in 2006, and then around 2008, and everything started going down, and everyone thought prices would never go back up.
Say it again. Say that one more time.
I got in 2006, everything was up. 2008, 2012, everything dropped, and everyone thought prices would never go back up. Some people didn't buy because of it, and the small group that did buy, they cashed out not too long ago.
Prices would never go back up. I remember those days. Will prices ever go up? People buy houses again, okay? What else has changed? And even if you've been in business less than 10 years, what's changed significantly? Brenda, anything come to mind? I mean, anybody, yes, ma'am, Shelley.
I think that with Google being so effective, you know, it can be good or not good. I think that buyers and sellers do go and research a lot more what it used to be. Like 20 years ago, they didn't have that opportunity to do that. So for good or bad, they researching more, asking questions more, which means that we as professionals really need to educate ourselves and be knowledgeable and bring value.
Do you all think that do you all think that the process for buying a house has become more complicated or less complicated?
More.
Much more. Are the contracts easier or harder? Harder. When I got into business, it was one page back and front. That was it. That was the whole contract. Now we have a page of the contract. Huh?
8 or 9.
Carbon paper, something, babe.
Press R, 3 copies.
Exactly right.
Floyd Whitman.
That's right. Okay. So anything else that you all want us to talk about that's changed significantly? Yes, ma'am, Sharka.
I read that on MLS, and I think I'm stating the obvious, that they're no longer gonna be listing.
All right, can you hold that question? Did you just hold that question? All right. Anything that's changed significantly, okay?
A lot changed after the pandemic, how we can do things virtually. That was a big change.
Okay, that's a change, okay? I'm glad to watch out. Guys, who was here during the Olympics? You remember what we were told during the Olympics? You will not be able to drive your car during the Olympics. Really? Did that happen, guys?
No, it was the best traffic ever.
And I just moved here and I was like, this traffic is amazing.
I moved here that summer somewhere too, and it was like, this is not busy.
Yeah, and then it came back, I was like, oh.
Right, so now we talked about what people are saying out there, and then we talked about changes in real estate. Tell me what y'all think is gonna change now. I'm sorry, Paige, you had a question, or I didn't change. What was your question or thought?
Well, I think that I think we're gonna go through some changes. And I don't see anything drastic. But I do see one thing that we talk about all the time, and I don't mean to change the subject, but kind of incorporate it, and that is stay in your database, stay in your database, stay in your database. People who are buying leads from people online for their substantial part of their business, these are people that they do not know, and they will have to convince them of their value. If you stay in your database, these are people who already know your value. And if the people already know your value, then I can't imagine asking a past client to sign a buyer brokerage agreement and saying, now, you know, some things have changed since we signed this last time, so if the seller is not willing to pay, you're willing to pay 3%, and them saying, oh no, I don't see that value in you. I can't imagine that happening with a past client. I can't imagine that happening with somebody that I bought a lead from.
No, just to add to what Paige said, you know, I know we talk about what's changed and a lot has changed, but what hasn't changed and never changed is relationships and trust. Never. And I believe that no matter people knowing that they can do things themselves, they've always known that there's a reason that they come to us, right? For sale by owners could be for sale by owners. Buyers could go, you know, straight to the listing agent, it's on there. But I do believe that's never gonna change, with technology or whatever.
Okay, Christie?
I'm worried about their transparency. So if the deal is it can't be an MLS, and we're seeing some examples where it's not, if I call you before I show the house and say, how much is your cooperative commission, and you don't answer, do I show the house, do I not? My buyers don't know if they're on the hook for 3%, 1%, no percent. And I think that's the hard part, is I don't think we're gonna have the level of communication we're all hoping we'll have. We always have good players and we always have bad players, but you have a hot listing and you've got 40 calls coming in and these agents aren't answering back, and I find out I made an offer on a 0% commission, I'm gonna be real upset, and my buyer's gonna be like, well, I bid that assuming they were gonna take care of it, but we don't know if they will. So trying to be better stewards in our market is gonna be a challenge.
Okay, all right, hold on, Sean comes next.
Yeah. I was actually gonna say something similar to that, and in addition to that, I think the conversation with our buyers are gonna change as well, especially when it comes to the buyer broker agreement.
Okay.
You know, like to what Christine was saying, will the seller give compensation, and if they're not, to also check that box off, possibly in the BBA that says the buyer may possibly be on the hook to pay your commission, so then that you know as an agent, you're gonna get paid if there isn't any listing commission coming towards your way.
Well, it's no longer a box, it's just defaulted now that yes, they're on the hook for whatever percent you put in.
Y'all are aware that FMLS doesn't have to follow
Yeah,
these,
change.
y'all know that, right?
They're what?
FMLS does not have to follow these rules.
But it's not a required field. They
But
said they
he
accidentally
said
put in
I'm
zero.
saying that they don't have to though.
They're not owned by the.
But you could.
They're not owned by real estate. Right, I'm trying to think of question.
Okay, so to Christie's point, right, for all the listing agent, one of the things that NAR said, they agreed to, that the sellers can offer concession to the buyers in the public remarks field.
But I thought
And
that,
also, we as Keller Williams or whoever, you can disclose the commission amount on your site only, right? Did you know that that's in the email that we got yesterday?
Yes,
So
I mean, I don't have
there are ways that we're gonna operate differently. We just have to pause and get direction from our brokers. There's no need for panic. That email that we got from yesterday from Keller Williams, go through and read it and highlight it, because it's a great email. Their workarounds, every agent got it.
But every agent has to participate in that workaround, and that's the part where we're not gonna see that. If
As
somebody's not telling us it's a 1%, and our buyers are conscious, they see it on Zillow now to go, I see that's not a 3%.
So it's educating ourselves as listing agents, knowing that we can make the offer of concession to the buyer in the public remarks.
But most agents.
Are you on? Who else had a question?
Good, Ann.
All right, Jill?
Heather Abernathy from Home.
Can
we, Heather Abernathy. You know how we will add like in our documents, like seller requested terms, like they need 3 days after closing, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. Can we put in there seller offering X buyers commission?
Sure, you clearly.
The listing agreement is not changing. So it can still be seller agrees to pay listing broker X, seller agrees to pay buyer brokerage Y. Check the box that the seller agrees to or not agrees to pay. It's just how we're marketing it. It might change a tad, but the listing agreement's not changing.
So back to that, then is that a way to do it, to say like, to put it in a document? We don't really know yet.
You can put it on your flyers, you can
Yes.
put it in your email, when you email flyers out to your agent
Yeah.
database, it can be there. It could be at the open house, if you're having open house
Yes.
flyers. It can be anywhere with the exception of MLS.
How many is
It
room
could
right
be
now?
a KW.
No. I said, when I say MLS, I mean Georgia MLS. Is Georgia MLS not owned?
No.
Oh, guys, why are we even talking about this?
So what, there's no rule.
I know. Yeah.
Shh, guys, come on. We talk with everybody, we'll not go here. You have a question, yes.
Yeah, I have a question. So I'm like 2 weeks new, right? So I've never closed.
Introduce yourself one more time.
Stand up, please.
Montero going on. Nice to meet everybody. So what's the difference in the way real estate used to do business before versus now? Like, what's going to change?
Nothing. You're
good.
That's all I want. What's
Well, I wanted to expand on something that Paige said about keeping up with your database. A number of years ago, I had a listing and a new young agent was looking at it, and she had a question about something in the basement. And I said, well, when these people bought the house 20 years ago, it was like this, and they had it inspected, and I've got the engineer's report if you want to see it. And she said, 20 years ago? You've known these people 20 years? And I said, yes. You won't remember me, and you won't remember this house. But I want you to always remember, it's easier to keep a client than it is to find a client. And now is the time to keep your clients, because I can promise you, they're all listening to the news. And now is the time to call and say, if you have questions, call me, because I want to talk to you about this.
Way to go.
I love that. Yes, Grace. Grace, you sound from here.
We love that accent.
So, yeah, I just wanted to ask, or suggest a word or statement. So working with first-time buyers, I still do a lot of them. So when they're going through the approval process, should they therefore closing costs, that should be part of their closing cost mathematics?
Right now, there is no process I'm aware of.
That hasn't been established yet.
Yeah.
Fannie and Freddie, they have to meet with their governing bodies, the DOJ, all those things.
So you cannot finance the commission at this point as part of your closing costs, right? You cannot do that. Okay, guys, a lot of hands read.
Well, the bigger.
Hold on.
You cannot finance the commission part of your closing costs at this point.
Yes, right.
You cannot.
Guys, I can't imagine that that's gonna change.
No.
And the other thing about this, I mean, the big question, even underneath that, is where's the money coming from? I mean, like, how many of your clients are scraping to get, we're doing 100% financing for people, they sure aren't gonna be able to come up.
Tack on another.
So this whole, anyway, I feel the same way about all this y'all do.
Questions, I'll come back to you, Margaret. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
If, okay, on the offer from the buyer, them say to the seller, pay my buying agent 3% commission. I mean, can't you do it that way? And then also prepare your listing? People to say, hey.
From Ned Blumenthal yesterday?
Pardon me?
Did you realize that from Ned Blumenthal yesterday, our attorney?
Yes.
Because he discussed that a little bit in there, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Hey, guys, I'm sorry, Marjorie.
No, I was just gonna say, so it's fair to say, right, that technically, we don't know exactly how this is gonna fall.
We do not.
Okay,
Right,
so
right.
we know what NAR has proposed, and we know all the questions that it creates, but we technically don't know where it's gonna fall and what exactly going to be the procedure.
And that is true. You all know what started all this, who knows what started all this? What did NAR do?
They made it that they had, the seller had to get, the seller had to offer at least $1. They couldn't offer $0, they had to offer at least $1 as a co-op commission to the buyer's agent.
Right.
To allow it to be put in a NAR owned or operated MLS, which we do not have in our area. First multiple listing and Georgia multiple listing, neither one are owned or operated or dictated to by the local, state, or national association of realtors.
Which doesn't affect it. All right, guys, so let's talk about what I'm sorry, go ahead, Sherry.
Yeah, a lot of
I was like,
influx.
everyone's gonna leave to Georgia, so real estate.
I was on the call yesterday and I said, it's not state, because there are
some board owned.
yes, there are some board owned MLSs in Georgia.
That's true.
Right. Just not FMLS or Georgia MLS,
Right.
so
Oh, so
it
this
is
isn't
a
gonna
little
affect
bit,
us at all.
it's not, it is gray.
Not us.
Hey, y'all, so let's talk about what's gonna happen, okay? There's something more, because I wanna ask you all, like, how many of you think that you're not gonna be able to talk your seller into paying whatever commission that will cover the buyer and the listing? Who thinks they're having trouble making that happen? Anybody here?
I mean, sure, with some people, with some people, yeah.
Once in a while.
Once in a while.
Exactly right. And we're gonna give you what you say when they say, well, Brenda, I know you're not gonna list your house on the, thank you for doing that, and you only offer 3%. Let's see how well that goes, see how many offers you get with that. So let's just, it's like, do you adjust the price sometimes?
Right.
Then you have to adjust this for those ones that want to try it that way. And they may sell them.
Or not, you don't have to take a
Yeah,
listing.
exactly,
That's
exactly. You don't have to take a listing.
I
Just take a
saw,
listing.
I saw a listing in FMLS that was entered with 0% compensation, and 2 days later, it went to 3.
Of course it's
And I
Exactly.
think that
Great
might
example.
also be that people are entering it
Because
incorrectly.
it defaults, it like,
I've seen it
it
a couple
defaults to 0 now, so you have to physically go in and put in the, like, it'll put 0 if you don't.
I think you always have to put it in.
So guys, so as I've been telling you all the whole time, thanks to Ned Blumenthal, who is our attorney that we call for E&O issues, okay? Thanks to Ned and his wonderful partner Seth Wiseman. They have put things in place years ago that protect us now. A lot of areas don't have BBAs yet.
Yes.
We've had them for years. How many of you know an agent that gives part of a commission as a buyer's agent back to their buyer? How many of you know people like that? I do too, there's one in here. So guys, we've been doing that for years. How many of you will allow in your BBA, which we want it to say 3% or 4% or whatever, but the buyer may say to you, well, I'll only pay you 1 or 2. Has anybody had that conversation? Will they change it inside there? You have? Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Guys, the thing I will tell you is, just do business. Go out there and do your business, because I don't think, now, could this affect us terribly? It could. I won't tell you it won't happen, because I don't know. But I'm just telling you, in 40 years of doing this, I've had more people tell me, well, Jim, this is going to end the way that we do real estate. And it hasn't yet, guys. Now, might this do it? Yes. Give me 1 second. Might it do it? It very well might, okay? But right now, if I'm a betting man and our attorney says, Jim, we've had buyers for years, We negotiated a commission for years, there's no set commissions, we know that. Guys, I don't see how this is gonna significantly change us in the next year. Sherry, what do you think?
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't see how it's gonna change us. Now, are you gonna get more questions about why should I pay the other side, 3%?
Yes.
And we're gonna work on some scripts for this, y'all have those scripts, we're gonna do that with you, doing some great scripts. Yes, Sharp.
Well, to answer that question, when the seller wants to know, why should I pay the buyer's agent, with the news the way it is,
Yeah.
I would say, well, from what I just learned actually right now, I would say to the seller that, well, it's not really affecting Georgia because our FMLS and our Georgia MLS is not part of the story, or it's not under the NAR, they're not controlled by NAR. And explain it to them that because of that, as it's national news, but it's not local to us. And this is why you should, because it will.
What I don't know is though, those MLSs might decide to follow
Yeah, they might
that.
decide to.
They might decide to
And
follow that.
FMLS has the partnership with others, so are those gonna dictate if they're gonna?
No, nothing's changed, exactly, so he knows what's gonna
Can
happen.
I say something? I was at a client that I had met them before in the fall to talk about selling their house. We went there and we signed a listing agreement, and they'd already heard about our lawsuit, so we were filling it out, and I even said, I was like, you don't have to pay anything, here's what will happen. And then we pulled up on the computer, I just pulled up every house that was listed in the Walton School District. I pulled up every one and showed them that all of the buyers agency, and I just picked them at random, and there wasn't a single one that I found that wasn't 3. So I had the conversation, I was like, you can choose to do less if you want, but you may have agents that, may not show it, or buyers may pass it by because, they're gonna have to pay the difference. And then he just thought the whole lawsuit was a bunch of bullshit anyway, and he signed 3 and 3, and it was like a 1-minute conversation.
So her script right there is the one that y'all need to
You can't say the agents won't show it though.
Yeah, some agents might not show it.
Can you say, hold that thought, can you say, if you do it this way, no one will show your house?
No.
Guess what? You may be wrong. Everybody have your ears on now, okay? It's not been tested by the court yet. We're not 100% sure. Now, I would not say that if I were you all. I would not say that. Have everybody's ears and eyes? I would not say that. But guys, Ned has told me we don't know what we can say, we cannot say right now. Now, probably that one you should not say. But guys, this has not been tested, it's not been approved by the court yet. Yes, ma'am.
You can turn that around and say something very similar, just like what she said, and said, the buyer
Correct.
may choose to pass you up and
Exactly.
not see your home, or say your agent will show it.
But I also tell them that there are agents out there who are not realtors, who are, not do things the way they're supposed to, and they may, even though they're not supposed to, choose
That's
the
right.
buyer to pass by, which is true. Yes, but I don't tell them they won't, it's a main
Okay,
conversation.
Rebecca, you were next, yes, ma'am.
So the scenario that Danielle just gave, where you're going back and you're looking in the MLS, when the MLS, if FMLS in Georgia follows suit, then there'll be a small percentage of historical data moving forward. We won't be able to compare and say, well, look at these houses that are listed now. This is why this one went under contract so quickly. So we also need to prepare for, if that time comes, what that script's gonna look like, because that data is what is going away.
Maybe.
And that's why.
We got 4 months to think on that.
We have 4 months to think on that. Who else did I see?
I was just gonna say,
Hold that thought, Mark, I think you were next, go ahead.
No, I just like what I heard this morning on the pivot call, how James put it, first you have order, then you have disorder, and then you have reorder. And so it's like, let it settle, let the boards do what they're gonna do, the brokers do what they're gonna do.
Yes.
And then we know.
yes, and let's offer our agents something in the meantime, because some people are gonna panic. So ABR is a fantastic course to take. Ignite is a buyer agency, and this course that Gary and Jay's teaching on March 26th. It's called Value Square. Guys, I went to a condensed version of it at Family Reunion. It's fantastic. go sign up for Value Squared.
It's filling up.
Yeah.
Tuesdays is full now.
Okay.
So everybody looking at Kate, I've already signed us up for Gary, Jay, and Jason
Oh.
to come teach us in April.
Nice.
I've already signed up, which I secure us a spot. And y'all take it for them, you can, but if not, I already have us.
Thank you.
Do you know what day that's on yet? 24th, I think, of April, is that right? I don't remember. You know,
When you say come, do you mean like?
No, we're
It's-
trying to.
it's-
Oh, for that session, but there
Gary's
is,
staying in my house.
but there's a March 26th session, if you can get in, it's a
There's a
fantastic
March
class.
29th.
And it talks about your value, cause we're gonna have to know what our value is, because we're gonna get pushback. So you gotta know what your value is, so right now
That's
it's
Talk about it.
strategy and it's a skill set, right?
Nothing.
That's what it is,
Nothing
skills and
changes.
strategy, you all.
Right, y'all. Just a little second.
Just goes. Love on your people.
Wait, gotta say
The
one
movies.
thing.
All right, of course. Go ahead, please.
Minimize the anxiety of yourself and your clients and use ease and elegance.
Ooh, I'm gonna write that down.
And be kind to other agents.
What'd you say?
Be kind to other agents.
Be kind to other agents, that's right, Amanda.
I was just saying, I mean, there's a lot of stuff online right now too. Just like be careful what you post. Like,
Thank
don't
you.
entertain the
Don't
don't feed the demon, right? Because like you making some snippy little comment on a real estate mastermind group is not gonna, number one, change anyone's mind. Number two, make you feel better because you're gonna get attacked. But it also, like, the public people can see that. Like these groups are not agents only, right? There's vendors, there are normal people who have snuck in. Don't post like in the drama, right? Like we need to post in solution. I'm not saying being like toxically positive, like be in reality, but like if you're gonna post something, don't feed the beast, right?
Thank you. Just if you have a concern with whether the agent will offer you a commission, call him or her and just say, hey, are you talking with me? Just call and ask, guys. I don't see this changing significantly this year. I just don't see it. I don't see it all of a sudden that half of our sellers are not gonna be willing to pay commission. I don't see that. Could that happen? I'm the one that said, who would ever be stupid enough to pay $4 for a cup of coffee before Starbucks?
You weren't the only one.
And I was so wrong about that. But I'm wrong but our trigger right now is saying, just relax, because we've been doing this long enough, that we have a track record, and it should not affect us, the way it's gonna affect other parts of the country.
Chip, can I close it with one thing?
Sure.
In 2020, we thought we were all gonna die because we weren't gonna make any money. You can't sell anything over a Zoom call and everything. It was our best years ever. So just sit back, take a deep breath, let it settle.
Guys, please, as Amanda said beautifully, don't feed it to us. Don't do that. And I don't care if it's an attorney that says it, I don't care if it's an AR that says it, guys. Remember, it's just their opinion. And that's all it can be right now. It's just their opinion. Has a court approved Gary selling?
No.
Has a court approved NAR selling?
No.
So until they're approved, can courts do some stupid things?
Yes.
They can. They can. They do it in the name of law. Just wait until this all settles, and there may be a little bit of a new norm, but I see it still somewhere else. Anything else you want to add? Yes, sir.
I want to ask a question. When presenting an offer, would it be a good idea or a bad idea to include the interning instructions when you send it to the listing agent? Not part of the contract, but along with it.
I always sent the instructions of closing attorney when I made an offer. That was just always my mind.
You're gonna get paid,
Yeah.
here's a copy of the earnest money. Seller's gonna get paid. Goes through the fax machine first. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't use fax machines anymore.
But it can still be ignored. I mean, they can ignore that part
They
of the
could
form and
ignore,
go
right,
to
you
contract.
negotiate, but I always sent it with. Or if you've got time, there's that, co-op commission form that's not the instruction of closing attorney that can go before you ever make an offer.
What about that?
Before you ever show it.
Before you ever show it, yeah. What's it called?
The cooperating agreement to pay, cooperating.
Commission, yeah.
That one. Co-op,
Yeah. Commission agreement.
Co-op commission agreement.
All right, Sherry's gonna send this out to everybody.
Okay.
Just so you'll see it, guys. You may wanna send that just for the next 2 weeks to figure all this out, guys. But please go sell real estate. We're right now, I think we're still in the one office, Metro Line for Keller Williams for Malibu. I think we're number 1 and number 2 for units closed, and 1 and number 2 for bargaining. So guys, people trying to sell real estate, let's go sell real estate, okay? Anything that I missed today?
Ed needs to say something.
Please enter the March Madness contest before you leave. A lot of fun. We had it last year. Does everybody know what March Madness is?
Yes. That's pretty good.
Those $10, buy a square, pick 2 numbers. You don't have to know anything about basketball or the teams in the tournament. You're just choosing 2 numbers, the last number of the score. That's it. And then, you can talk to anybody that was in it before.
I won last time.
You are the winner right there.
Did you know about March Madness at all? You just put numbers
I
up there.
discussed it in.
Exactly,
It's a lot of fun, and it lets you get to know some of the other members in the Market Center.
And what's the charity, Ed? You guys do a great
Charity
charity.
is Camp Grace.
Yes.
At least it was last year, and it'll be the same thing. They get half the proceeds.
Awesome charity.
Last year they made 300, and we paid out 300. We had 60 players.
It's a fun
So, 100 possibilities. There were 100 possibilities. So when you write your name, put $10 in the plate.
Anything else? Thank y'all so much. Enjoy your day. Thanks for your patience today.
Thank you.
Hi, Thank you.